It was barely 7 a.m. when the sound of paper flapping against the door woke Keisha. The apartment was still dim, the curtains drawn to block out the morning sun. She rubbed her eyes, thinking it was the wind, until she saw the envelope taped to the door with bold red letters screaming, "Final notice." Her stomach dropped. She stood still for a moment, listening to the soft breathing of her 2 kids in the next room. Then slowly she reached for the letter and pulled it free. Her hands shook as she unfolded the paper. "You are hereby notified that you must vacate the premises within 14 days due to non-payment of rent." The words blurred. She blinked, trying to hold back the tears. It wasn't like she hadn't been trying. 2 jobs, night shifts, weekends cleaning offices. Every dollar went toward keeping the lights on and her kids fed. But the bills kept winning. "God, not again," she whispered, pressing the paper to her chest. From the small bedroom, her son Malik's sleepy voice called, "Mama, what's wrong?" Keisha forced a smile and turned toward him. "Nothing, baby. Go back to bed. Mama just got some mail." But her voice cracked, and Malik noticed. He was only 8, but smart enough to know when his mama was lying. He stared at her for a long second, then quietly went back to his sister, pulling the blanket over both of them. Keisha walked to the kitchen. The counter was covered with unopened bills, grocery lists, and a half-empty cereal box. She placed the eviction letter on top, next to a faded photo of her mother, the woman who had taught her strength and faith, even when the world felt unfair. She whispered to the photo, "Mama, I'm trying, but I'm so tired." As she poured herself coffee, her phone buzzed, a reminder from work. "Double shift tonight." She sighed. If I just had 2 more weeks, but she knew begging wouldn't fix it. Still, she had to try. She grabbed her phone and searched the landlord's number. A voice message played. "This is Marcus Property Management. Please leave your name and reason for calling after the tone." Keisha's voice trembled as she spoke. "Hi, this is Keisha Williams from Maple Street, apartment 2B. I got an eviction notice today, and I'm asking, please, if there's any way to give me more time. I have 2 kids, and I'm trying to catch up. Please call me back." She hung up, her throat tightening. Outside, the neighborhood was waking up. Kids running to the school bus, neighbors chatting on porches. Keisha stood by the window, watching the world move like nothing was wrong, while she felt hers falling apart. Then Malik came out again, holding his worn-out backpack. "Mama, can I get lunch money today?" She froze. She only had $12 left. "Of course, baby," she said, slipping a few crumpled bills into his hand. Mama's got it handled, but as they left for school, her eyes drifted back to the eviction letter on the counter. The bold red stamp glared back at her like a countdown clock. 14 days. She didn't know what tomorrow held, but one thing was clear. She wouldn't let her kids end up on the street, not after everything they'd already lost. And somewhere deep down, she made a silent promise. She'd find the landlord. She'd beg if she had to. Because this time, giving up wasn't an option. The next morning, Keisha stood outside the leasing office with her heart racing. She had barely slept, her mind spinning between fear and hope. The letter was folded neatly in her purse, along with her last paycheck stub and a handwritten note explaining her situation. She took a deep breath before stepping inside. The office was quiet, sterile, and smelled faintly of coffee. Behind the counter sat a young woman typing fast, her long nails clicking against the keyboard. Keisha waited until the woman looked up. "Can I help you?" the woman asked without a smile. "Yes," Keisha said softly. I got an eviction notice. I was hoping I could speak to Mr. Marcus, the landlord." The receptionist frowned slightly. "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but I left a message yesterday. I'm just trying to explain my situation before things go too far." The woman sighed. "Mr. Marcus is busy today, but I can give him your message again." Keisha hesitated, then said, "Please, I have 2 children. I just need 2 more weeks. I'll pay the balance, I promise." Her voice cracked on that last word. Something in her tone made the receptionist pause. After a long moment, she said quietly, "Hold on, I'll check if he's available." Keisha clutched her purse strap tightly as the woman disappeared through a glass door. Minutes passed like hours. She could hear her own heartbeat echoing in her ears. Then the door opened again. "He'll see you," the receptionist said. "Office down the hall, second on the left." Keisha whispered, "Thank you," and hurried down the hallway. Her shoes clicked softly on the tiled floor as she reached the office. The nameplate on the door read, Marcus Hayes, Property Manager. She knocked lightly. "Come in," a deep voice replied. She entered, and for a second forgot what she wanted to say. The man sitting behind the desk was younger than she expected, maybe mid-30s. Broad-shouldered, calm eyes, but there was something familiar about him. "Miss Williams?" he asked. "You're here about the eviction?" "Yes, sir," she said, pulling out her papers. "I know I'm late again, but I'm working 2 jobs. I can pay most of what's due next week if you just give me a little more time." He studied her face for a moment, then leaned back. "It's not personal. The system automatically generates the notice after 60 days. I just handle the paperwork, but it is personal, Keisha said softly. It's my home, my kid's home. Her eyes glistened as she slid the papers across the desk. Here's proof I'm trying. I'm not asking for charity, just mercy. Marcus took the papers but didn't read them right away. He was staring, not in judgment, but confusion. Keisha Williams, he murmured. Where are you from originally? She blinked, unsure how that mattered. From North Carolina, why? Marcus leaned forward slightly, his brow furrowed. Do you have any family from there? Around Greenville? Keisha's breath caught. Yes, but I lost touch years ago. Why are you asking? Marcus didn't answer immediately. He looked down at a photo on his desk, a faded picture of two kids on a porch laughing. He tapped it with his finger, deep in thought. I think, he said slowly, we might know each other. Keisha frowned. What do you mean? Marcus met her eyes. Did you have an Aunt Denise? Keisha froze. Her heart skipped a beat. Yes. She raised me after my mom died. Marcus exhaled, a mix of disbelief and realization on his face. Then that means... He trailed off, shaking his head slightly. Keisha stared at him, the confusion turning into a nervous laugh. What's going on? Do I know you? Marcus looked up, eyes soft with recognition. You did. A long time ago. Keisha stood frozen, the room suddenly smaller, heavier. Marcus leaned forward, his voice gentler now. When we were kids, he said, you used to chase me around Aunt Denise's backyard with a water gun. You called me Marmar. Her eyes widened, the memory hitting like a flood. The laughter, the long summers, the sticky popsicles under the sun, memories she thought had vanished with time. Marcus, she whispered, stepping closer. Marcus Hayes? He nodded slowly. It's been a long time, Keish. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The world outside that office seemed to stop. Keisha's mind spun through years of silence, the move to another city after her mother's death, the family splitting apart, lost contact, unanswered letters, and now, by some cruel twist of fate, her cousin, her childhood playmate, was the man trying to evict her. She took a shaky breath. I can't believe it's you. All this time. Marcus offered a sad smile. I didn't recognize you at first. It's been, 20 years? Maybe more. Keisha nodded, still reeling. You grew up good, she said with a faint laugh. I mean, professional. Wow. He smiled softly, but his eyes carried regret. You grew up strong. Aunt Denise always said you had your mother's spirit. The mention of her mother made Keisha's eyes sting. She used to say that too. For a long moment, silence filled the room again. Not awkward, but thick with shared memories. Finally, Marcus spoke. Listen, about the eviction. If I'd known it was you, it never would have gotten this far. Keisha shook her head, the weight of pride pressing down. No, Marcus, don't do that. I don't want favors. I just want time. I can pay what I owe. I've been doing everything I can. He sighed. It's not about favors. It's about family. You shouldn't be out there struggling like this. I've been struggling for years, she whispered. Nobody knew. Nobody cared. Her voice cracked, and Marcus leaned forward. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. Keisha looked down, her fingers twisting the strap of her purse. I didn't even know where you were. After Mama died, I thought I didn't have anyone left. Marcus's face softened. You still got me. You always did. A tear slipped down her cheek, and she quickly wiped it away. I can't believe after all this time I find family again. And it's because of an eviction notice. Marcus chuckled lightly, shaking his head. Life's got a strange way of bringing people back. Yeah, she said quietly. Real strange. He leaned back in his chair, thinking. How about this? You don't worry about the notice for now. Let me check what I can do on my end. Maybe there's a way to put this on hold. Keisha frowned. You'd do that? I'll do better than that. He said, come by tomorrow. We'll figure this out. Her heart softened, the fear she'd been carrying all week slowly easing away. Thank you, Marcus. Really, he nodded. Go home to your kids, Keish. You've done enough fighting for today. She smiled weakly and turned to leave, but before walking out, she looked back and said, It's good to see you again, Marmar. Marcus laughed quietly, shaking his head. Haven't heard that name in 20 years. As Keisha stepped outside, she felt the warmth of the sun on her face. For the first time in days, it didn't feel cruel. It felt like maybe, just maybe, life wasn't done being kind yet, but deep down, neither of them knew that this reunion would uncover something even bigger, a family truth buried beneath years of silence. The next morning, Keisha woke up earlier than usual. The air felt lighter somehow, a rare thing lately. For the first time in weeks, there was a flicker of hope. She got the kids ready for school, kissed them both on their foreheads, and whispered, Mama's got this. Then she dressed in her cleanest blouse and walked the few blocks to Marcus's office. As she approached the building, a strange nervousness settled over her. Yesterday, she had walked in as a desperate tenant. Today, she was walking in as family. When she entered, Marcus was already waiting, 2 cups of coffee on the desk. Morning, cousin, he said with a smile. She couldn't help but smile back. Morning, Marmar, he laughed softly. You really not letting that go, huh? Not a chance, she replied. They sat down, and for a few moments it almost felt normal, like old times. They talked about Aunt Denise, about childhood summers, about how quickly life had pulled them apart. But then, Marcus grew serious. Keish, he began, there's something I need to tell you. Something I found out last night after you left? Her heart skipped. What is it? He took a deep breath, running a hand over his face. After you left, I called my mom. I told her about you, that I found you again after all these years. But when I said your full name, she got quiet. Real quiet. Keisha frowned. Why? Marcus looked up, conflicted. She told me something I didn't know. Something our parents kept from us. What are you talking about? He hesitated, then said softly, You and I, we're not just cousins. Keisha blinked, confused. What do you mean? He swallowed hard. Your mother and my father, they were siblings by blood, yeah. But before your mom passed, she left something with Aunt Denise, a letter. My mom found it years later. Keisha's voice trembled. A letter? Marcus nodded. In that letter, she wrote that she'd named her life insurance beneficiary under her child's legal guardian, which was Aunt Denise at the time. But the policy listed both our names. Half of it was meant for you. Half for me. Keisha's eyes widened. Wait, what? Marcus's voice softened. My mom never told me. I didn't find out until last night when she finally admitted it. She said she kept it quiet because she thought you'd moved on. But you never got your share, Keish. That money, it was supposed to be yours too. Keisha's heart pounded in her chest. You're telling me, all these years while I was struggling, that money was just untouched, Marcus said quietly. Sitting there in a trust my mom didn't know how to release without your signature. Keisha stood up, tears filling her eyes. Do you know what I've been through, Marcus? I've worked double shifts, skipped meals just to feed my kids, and all this time, I know, he said, standing too. And I'm sorry, I didn't know either. But now we can fix it. That money is still there, and it's yours by right. She covered her face, overwhelmed. I can't even process this right now. Marcus stepped closer, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. You don't have to. We'll go to the bank together. We'll make sure it's released in your name. You deserve peace, Keish. She looked up, eyes glistening. After all this time, I thought I'd lost everything. My mom, my family, even my home. Marcus smiled softly. Maybe life's just giving it back to you, one piece at a time. Keisha exhaled shakily, nodding. Maybe you're right. But as she sat back down, still trying to make sense of it all, one thought echoed in her mind. If the past could hide this secret for so long, what else had been kept from her? 2 days later, Keisha walked beside Marcus through the marble hall of the city bank. The air inside smelled of polished floors and quiet promises. Every step echoed with disbelief. She clutched her purse, fingers trembling. I still can't believe this is real, she whispered. Marcus smiled gently. You'll believe it once you see those papers signed. The banker, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, led them to her office. Mr. Hayes, Ms. Williams, I've reviewed the file you mentioned. This account's been inactive for over 15 years, but yes, the funds are intact. Keisha blinked, struggling to take it in. 15 years? Marcus nodded. Since the day Aunt Denise passed, the banker slid a folder toward Keisha. We'll just need your signature here to transfer ownership. Her hand trembled as she picked up the pen. For a moment, she hesitated, thinking of all the nights she'd gone hungry, all the tears she'd hidden from her children. Then she took a deep breath and signed. The banker smiled. Congratulations, Ms. Williams. You're officially the sole beneficiary. It was done. Just like that, Keisha leaned back in her chair, tears streaming silently down her cheeks. The weight she'd carried for years, the fear, the shame, the exhaustion, all began to lift. Marcus looked at her, smiling softly. You're free now, Keish. She laughed through her tears. You have no idea how good that sounds. When they left the bank, the afternoon sun bathed the street in gold. The city looked different, brighter somehow, kinder. Come on, Marcus said. I want to show you something. They drove in silence for a few minutes until they reached the apartment complex. Keisha frowned. Why are we back here? Marcus parked and turned to her. Because I made a decision. She raised an eyebrow. What kind of decision? He smiled. You're not moving out. I canceled the eviction notice. In fact, I'm rewriting the lease. In your name, no rent for 6 months. You need time to breathe, to rebuild. Her eyes widened. Marcus, no. I can't let you. You're not letting me, he said firmly. You're family. And family looks out for each other. You've spent your whole life surviving. Now it's time you start living. Keisha covered her face, overwhelmed. I don't even know what to say. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Say you'll come to Sunday dinner. Aunt Denise would want that. That made her laugh. A real, deep laugh she hadn't felt in years. All right, Marmar. Sunday dinner it is. As she walked back to her apartment later, the same door that once held a notice of loss now welcomed her home again. She stood there for a long time, touching the wood, whispering softly, Thank you, Mama. You kept me safe, even from heaven. Inside, Malik and Zoe ran to her, their faces lighting up. Mama, what happened? Are we okay? Keisha knelt down, hugging them both tight. We're more than okay, baby. We're home, for good. Outside, the wind picked up, carrying away the last scrap of fear and struggle. And as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in orange and pink, Keisha finally allowed herself to exhale, free, loved, and whole again. Sometimes, life takes everything from you, only to return it in ways you never expected.